Madam Mensa, you are the chairwoman of the Electoral Commission Ghana and as well the president of the Association of African Electoral Authority. I think the first important things would be for you to illustrate what is all about the Association of African Electoral Authorities.
Yes, I think the Association of African Election Authorities brings together some 45 election management bodies in Africa for the purpose of networking, sharing elections, and establishing best practice in elections on the continent. Ultimately, the aim of the association is to ensure that elections that are held in Africa are credible, that the elections are transparent and have integrity and have the standards that are required of elections around the continent.
And how about the activity we are having here in Rome between the 4th and the 8th of May when it comes to this project that is funded by Italy, implemented by the African Union Commission in collaboration with the European Centre for Electoral Support? What is this activity?
Well, we are meeting here in Rome from the 4th to the 8th of May 2026 to dialogue and to discuss issues regarding cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, and social media. I think we all recognize that elections have evolved and that elections are no longer physical activities held at the polling stations and so on and so forth. We all recognize that elections start long before the actual election day, and there's a lot of influence on social media, and whether it is X, whether it is Facebook, whether it is YouTube, and a lot of engagement. So as EMBs, we've come together to dialogue on the evolving practices around elections, looking at artificial intelligence, how we can use it, and how we can rely on it for the benefit of our own election bodies. And so, for instance, how can we use artificial intelligence to educate the voters, to strengthen our systems, to communicate with voters and receive their concerns and respond in a timely manner? How can we use social media, to provide accurate information to the citizenry and to counter misinformation and disinformation and so on? What cybersecurity mechanisms and platforms can we employ to protect the integrity of our electoral process, to protect our databases, to protect our data, to protect our electoral process and that sort of thing. So basically, that's why we are here for this week in Rome under the sponsorship of the Italian government through the European Centre for Electoral Support to discuss these issues. The whole idea is that at the end of the day, we should have, each and every one of us should carry home with us best practices from around the continent and also from Italy and our other partners here in this room that will equip us and strengthen our organizations and our electoral process.
Thanks a lot. And here in Rome, we are with the 18 countries in Africa that are the priority countries for the Italian-African partnership. But of course, we have you representing the Association of African Electoral Authorities, as you said, 45 electoral management bodies in Africa, but as well the regional organizations, regional networks of EMBs that are covering West, Central, East, and Southern Africa. And in Egypt, if I understood well, between the 6th and the 8th of July, we will have all electoral management bodies of Africa present, discussing diaspora voting. That is something that is also related to issues of artificial intelligence or cybersecurity.
Yes, very much so. As you may be aware, we have what we call the annual Continental Forum every year, and it brings together some 45, chairpersons and commissioners from election management bodies from across the continent. It also brings together, heads of the various networks, whether from West Africa, from Southern Africa, Eastern Africa, and so on. And it's an assembly of, heads of election management bodies. And in July, at the beginning of July, we'll be meeting in Egypt to discuss diaspora and voting and to look at experiences of countries that have utilized it, what works, what doesn't work. And then from the association standpoint also, we do have the General Assembly where we consider and discuss issues relating to the association, what has been done in the course of the year, how can we be more effective, and so on and so forth. So basically we'll be holding this meeting sometime in the beginning of July. And they've been instructive because it's provided an opportunity to learn lessons from our own peers, to learn best practices, to learn from the experiences of others, and also to network. Because through that we gain a lot of insight as to what other countries are doing. We also learn some of their pitfalls and how to avoid them. And so ultimately these forums have helped to strengthen us, deepen the networks, and to ensure that each of us, even as individuals, lives stronger, and our organizations also live stronger and benefit from the ideas that come, that are shared at these discussions.
Thanks a lot, Madam Mensa, and thanks on behalf of the European Center for Electoral Support and also from the Italian government following the words today of Deputy Director General for Global Affairs and Central Director of Sub-Saharan Africa, Stefano De Leo. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you.